Anyone that has been following my online activity for the past few years knows how much I love Chibi-Robo, a video game franchise about a small robot that cleans and makes people happy. I love Chibi-Robo so much, I adopted the abandoned wiki for the franchise and began overhauling it, and it is now a part of the Nintendo Independent Wiki Alliance. Back in 2020, a game dev company named Fluminous announced that they were creating a game heavily inspired by Chibi-Robo, called Misc: A Tiny Tale, and I knew I had to check it out. I got in touch with the lead developer, Michael Pierce, and we quickly became friends. Shortly after, Michael split from Fluminous and created Tinyware Games, where development of Misc: A Tiny Tale would continue. Since then, Tinyware has been busy at work building Misc, releasing demo builds periodically, and now, 5 years since its reveal, Misc: A Tiny Tale is about to be officially released on Steam and Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. Michael was very kind and sent early copies out to certain people for reviews and feedback, and I am very thankful to have been one of them. This game made me shed a few tears, and I am really excited to share my experience with you. I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler-free so you can enjoy the game yourself. After this video goes up, you can look forward to a video covering my first playthrough soon. Also keep in mind, I was playing an early build, and any issues I came across should be fixed by the time the game releases. So without further ado, let's get into it. Misc: A Tiny Tale is a very simple platformer, but I'd still recommend using a controller if you are playing the Steam version. The player controls a small robot named Buddy. In addition to walking, Buddy can crouch, double jump, hover briefly, run, and dive. Overall, the platforming is not very demanding, and I would say the game is easy, even for new gamers. For those interested in a challenge, however, there are certain areas that will put your platforming skills to the test. The player can pick up garbage lying around and clean up gunk with a toothbrush. Collected garbage can then be recycled into currency used for purchasing quest items. All garbage and gunk cleaned adds to a difference made counter, which tallies how big of an impact the player has made on the world. Reaching certain difference made milestones will unlock letters from characters that have heard of Buddy and Bag Boy's adventure. I really like the letters and think they add a lot of world building. The letters you receive are mostly from characters you never meet in locations you never visit, but it makes the world feel bigger and tells you there's more going on than what you see in the gameplay. Buddy can use a safety pin to activate switches, destroy barriers, and defeat enemy wind-up bots. As with the platforming, the combat is not very challenging. There is no health bar or a way to get a game over. If Buddy falls in a pit, he is pulled back to the start of a challenge. This is a cozy, comfy type of game, one that you can sit back and relax while you play. There is never a feeling of risk, and I feel that was a conscious decision made by Tinyware to make the game accessible for anyone to experience the main plot, as the story is the real highlight of Misc: A Tiny Tale. The story begins when two robots, Buddy and Bag Boy, see an explosion that causes golden cogs to rain from the sky. The next morning, they set out on an adventure to figure out what caused the explosion and repair all of the village gates by returning the golden cogs they used for power. On their journey, they come across a myriad of quirky characters made out of miscellaneous parts, many of which need help with a task or some other problem. A standout character that Buddy encounters is an inventor robot named Adam, who has created wind-up bots that are causing lots of mischief. The main theme of Misc: A Tiny Tale is how our differences make us better and should be celebrated. One instance where this is seen is when Buddy helps a group of people rebel against their ruler's strict laws regarding appearances. I can't talk much else without going into spoilers, but this game would have had me bawling my eyes out if I weren't on antidepressants. As previously mentioned, Misc: A Tiny Tale is heavily inspired by Chibi-Robo, and it wears that inspiration on its sleeve proudly. I may make a video in the future going over every reference and homage in the game. There are so many. That being said, Misc: A Tiny Tale is able to stand on its own merits, and you do not need to know anything about Chibi-Robo to enjoy the game. They both share the same ideas: help others, make lives better, and spread the happiness. With everything going on in the world right now, I've been feeling really burnt out and depressed, which is partly why I'm late getting this video out. Misc a Tiny Tale was a breath of fresh air to play through, and brought me a lot of joy and happiness. The characters are cute, the gameplay is relaxing, and the story is emotional. It really felt like a Chibi-Robo game, and I am really excited for you to play it for yourself when the game comes out digitally July 22nd on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 consoles, and July 31st on Steam. There will be links in the description for where you can find Misc a Tiny Tale. And for any Chibi-Robo fans, consider checking out my Etsy store, where I have lovingly recreated some iconic clothes, objects, and stickers. Also keep an eye out for a lengthy video of my first playthrough of Misc a Tiny Tale sometime in the near future.